Hello class, my name is Jack Lesko, and this class is History 103, Western Civilization Part 1, and I will get to know all of you as we proceed through the course. A little different for some of you maybe, but welcome to online Western Civilization. So what does this course cover? Well, we're going to cover a lot of ground, which means that I don't want you to try to memorize everything that happens, because we're going to talk about how many centuries? Something like 20 centuries, right? 3000 BC or so, all the way up to about 1600. So that's maybe 1900 years. What I would like for you to get out of this course is an understanding of kind of broad developments, broad principles, the underlying causes, what brings about change historically, and how did we get from here to there. And so what will we cover? Let me just go over that briefly. We're going to start as I said, roughly around 3000 BC. We're going to talk about a number of the earlier cultures, Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Hebrews, and those are the earlier cultures. We'll take a look at some of the earlier empires, and then we'll march on, and that starts in what we now call the Middle East. From there, we'll be going to, we'll talk about the Hebrews as well. And we'll perhaps have occasion to talk about the Old Testament a bit there. And then we'll move on. We'll be talking about Greek culture, Greek civilization, Homer, the Odyssey, and the Greek democracy, the Athenian Empire, Sparta. And we'll see that this will give rise to one of the great civilizations earlier on, and ultimately, as I said, the development of democracy, but ultimately going to Alexander the Great and what he accomplishes, building a great empire in southeastern Europe, what is now southeastern Europe, Macedonia, Greece, all the way well into Asia, all the way up to India. And after him, we'll explore Hellenistic culture, the culture that comes out of Greek culture, which is spread around by Alexander. And then from the Greeks, we'll move on to the next great civilization. We'll be talking about Rome, the Romans, what they build, and we'll see beginning roughly around 500 BC, the Romans develop an early civilization that some people think sounds a lot like us. Development of the Roman law, Roman philosophy, very, very interesting culture, and I hope that we'll enjoy it as we go through there. And then as we go to the Romans, we'll see the Roman Republic giving way to the Roman Empire, Augustus, and then the emperors, and we'll see the gradual rise of the empire, reaching a glory age under Augustus, and then in decline after that. Why does it decline? Well, it does, and as it declines, we see the rise of Christianity. Christianity, long history, a big question. Why does Christianity develop? Why does it thrive while the Roman Empire disintegrates and falls apart? Following the demise of the Roman Empire, we'll then go through the history of the Middle Ages, the rise of the church, and the sort of the high Middle Ages after that, the beautiful Gothic churches as they are built, what they mean, how they're built, and we'll explore the architecture and the art of Christianity. And then, of course, the rise of the papacy as well, which kind of unifies Christendom. And we'll go all the way up from there into the Renaissance and try to understand why the Renaissance appears where it does, why it does, what are the main accomplishments of the Renaissance, and then the Reformation. People teach a whole course on the Reformation. And then after the Reformation, the splitting of Christianity, and that'll take us, of course, into the explorations and the New World. That's us here. And we'll be exploring the rise of the state, and that's as far as we go. That ought to be far enough. So that's what we're covering. Let me just give you an idea, sort of a capsule of what we're going to be doing in this class as we study all these areas. What I'd like for you to do, we'll have several readings beyond the textbook, and the textbook, I should tell you, is J. Perry, Western Civilization, Ideas, Politics, and Society, we'll have several options about which edition. I'm not really picky about which edition. The cost has gotten so high. But in any case, that'll be the text. We'll also be reading Euripides' play, Medea. If you don't know anything about Medea, well, you'll find out about her. This issue ties into women's rights, an issue that's very, very large today, of course. Medea, if you don't know the story, is abandoned by her husband, Jason, after she has done everything, given him everything, and she does some terrible things. I won't tell you what they are. You'll discover that soon enough. And we'll do another outside reading as well. When I say outside, I mean beyond the text. And I'm not sure what that will be yet, but it might be St. Augustine's Confessions, or perhaps a later work to be decided. You will do short papers on each of these readings, maybe 3 pages or so, just a short essay, and you will have the questions for that that I would like you to explore. Beyond that, we will have, I wouldn't say tests, I would call them quizzes. What I want to do is I want to explore each unit as much as possible. For example, pre-civilization, we'll take a look at 1 or 2 questions and try to answer them. That will be what I'll try to do in short videos, and then I'll ask you to explore those ideas and to develop those ideas perhaps, and we'll work together on that. So what you'll do is you'll have a quiz for every unit, and to essentially answer one of the basic questions regarding that unit. Why Athenian democracy, for example? Why the collapse of the Roman Empire? Why the rise of Christianity? So those are the kinds of things I would like for you to explore, and you can do those things more or less as at-home quizzes, and that'll be in lieu of tests. Beyond that, I think that more or less takes care of the writing that you'll be doing. I look forward to having exchanges online with you, and we'll have dialogues, and that will be sort of in place of what we would normally do when we have a face-to-face class. So it will still be face-to-face in a way as we have our dialogue. And just think of this class as a dialogue really between all of us as we proceed through the different centuries and different cultures, different histories. So thank you, and we'll see you soon.